Hi everyone. Hi everyone. It's your friend Daniel Hutchins. I'm outside. I'm working out because I'm going to the gym to work out. You know why? Because I need to keep myself in line. That is why I am going to work out. Well, I'm working out to go work out. So it's like I'm double clutching, quite literally and figuratively. So also, because the the house was a mess. Um, yeah, about that. Yes, since the since the house was a mess. Yeah. So my sister has the maid come in. Yes, the maid. Yes, the maid. Because we gotta get made. Don't you know? Don't you know we gotta get made by that maid? Okay, so what I normally do is when the maid is there, I like to go off an adventure in places where the maid isn't. And quite frankly, it's for my own safety and for my own good, so she can focus on the task that is at arms. Okay? Also, I'm sorry about the really short Superman review that I did yesterday, but if you want, I will tell you the full on what happened, play by play of what happened in the Superman movie, okay? You want to know the full review, not the bullshit review I did yesterday? I'll tell it to you right now and I'll give it to you once. Okay, because I'm nice. Uh, so it opens up really slow, and we know Superman was, we first see him in the snow, laying down in the snow, his face planted in the Arctic Circle. And then, we saw Superman and Crypto the Super Dog. And yeah, so we had Superman and Crypto the Super Dog. And they were at the Fortress of Solitude for the first opener of the movie. Okay. Then we switch scenes again, where we see Lois Lane and everybody at the Dairy Planet. Okay? And then we switch scenes again. We have Lex Luthor and the rest of the villains. And Lex Luthor is team of villains after Superman to, to capture him, more or less. Which they did later in the movie. They captured Superman. Lex Luthor and his team had captured Superman, put him in this pocket dimension, and then yeah, I don't know what the hell just happened. I really don't know what the hell just happened. But yeah, anyway, we were talking about the Superman movie, okay? And then my phone again. But okay, so let me repeat that for you guys that don't know. Okay, the Superman movie. Okay, what happened in the Superman movie? Okay. Start back from the beginning. Okay, in case you guys are just tuning in. The Superman movie. My full review of the Superman movie, not that 2 minutes you got last night. Okay, so the first things we know happened in the Superman movie. We have Superman and Crypto the Super Dog at the Fortress of Solitude, okay? And then you switch the scenes over to the Metropolis, where we have the Jelly Planet and Lex Luthor and his team of villains. Okay? Then Lex Luthor sent his team of villains after Superman to capture Superman and then frame Superman. And so there was a whole sequence where Lex Luthor and his villains were able to break in to the Fortress of Solitude and grab and extract the message, the message from Jor-El and his mom, and then use it to frame Superman. Then the public, saw Superman as, what he wasn't. And then Superman was captured. And then when Superman was captured, then he had to go in a pocket dimension where he was trapped in this glass cage, and he was sentenced to a punishment of kryptonite. And yeah, that's, what happened. And then what happened after that, well, between around there was Lois Lane. She was trying to figure out ways on how to save Superman. Because her and Superman were, they were doing an interview for the Daily Planet. And then they had this big blow up. This big fight. And then Superman, being Superman, he goes off and does something else, okay? And then Superman gets his ass captured. So then Lois Lane has to team up with these superheroes. We know, more specifically, Mr. Terrific. He was, the front and center of the rest of the superheroes we call the Justice Gang. Not Justice League, Justice Gang. Because remember, we're rebuilding that universe, so it's the Justice Gang. Okay, so also in the Justice Gang, there was also Green Lantern Guy Gardner, who we know is kind of like a dick in the books, especially. And then we had Hawk Girl. Oh, yeah. But, she was kind of a little, as we know, her from the book, again, with her cry of a hawk, okay? And then it's like, okay, so now Lois Lane has to team up with Mr. Terrific to go in this pocket dimension and save Superman from, dying a sentence death of kryptonite. They barely made it out alive, and then Lex Luthor gets really, really upset when he finds out Superman has escaped his pocket dimension. Okay, so then Lex Luthor goes on this giant tirade that he wants to capture Superman again and use him for his own evil, nefarious purposes. Like Lex Luthor normally does. And then, to make matters even more worse, there was another big giant fight where, there was, well, actually, there's a whole nother part of the storyline where I forgot, which was the Middle East. Okay? So there was the villages of all these kids in the Middle East, and they were going crazy. And then, so then they were going so crazy that then it's like, we love you, Superman! We love you, Superman! And then there was the kid holding up the yellow flag with Superman symbol painted on it. And then later, the rest of the Justice Gang is like, sorry, kid. Sorry that Superman couldn't make it, but you just got yourself an upgrade, kid. And then after that, the war continues. So the Justice Gang, again, Hawk Girl, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific, and our new friend Metamorpho, we were able to fight the final battle, kind of like it happened in 3 places, but where Superman was actually fighting a clone of himself. We know Ultraman. Lex Luthor knows as Ultraman. So Superman was duking it out with Ultraman. And so Superman was meanwhile busy and occupied with Ultraman. Mr. Terrific, he was, trying to, save the city from splitting apart. And then Meanwhile, you have the Justice Gang on the other side of the world trying to confront and figure out what the hell is happening with this Middle East. So yeah, we have three different battles. We have like three different battles happening at the same time for the final battle of the Superman 2025. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm not reading your questions, but did you get permission to publish the video at the beach? Did the woman let you film her? No, that's not what I'm talking about, dude. That's not what I'm talking about. Why are you asking a question that makes no sense? Okay? This is what I'm talking about, guys. You guys are asking me all these questions that don't make sense, okay? Let's focus here. Let's focus here. Okay? I'm telling you the full-on movie review of Superman, but meanwhile, you guys have the ability of always asking these weird, irrelevant questions that have nothing to do whatsoever with the topic I'm talking about. Okay? So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but we need to focus here, guys. We need to focus. Okay. So, after the final battle is finished, we finally have Superman. He crashes into Lex Luthor's Luthor Corp, and then the news and Daily Planet, and they're like, okay, Lex Luthor has betrayed the whole entire world, which he did, because they label Lex Luthor as a traitor, which again serves perfect sense because Lex Luthor was a traitor this entire time. Okay? And then after Lex Luthor was like, okay, Superman, you win this time. Okay. Then at the really end, everybody celebrated in Metropolis. Yeah, the world's saved. Yeah, the city didn't get split in half and all that. And the Middle East was cheering as well. So then after all that shit was done, then there was, a brief moment where we had Superman hopping over and talking to Lois Lane and saying, hey, you want that interview now? And she said, yeah, I love that interview now. So then they continued to, make out and kiss, and they even did a flying kiss scene right in the middle of a building. And then everybody was all hooting and hollering and cheering and screaming and crying. And everybody was so happy because the Superman movie was finally over until we saw two post-credits, okay? There were two post-credits usually in the James Gunn films. Okay, the first post-credit was setting us up for the next movie, which will be Supergirl. Yeah, Supergirl. That's the first of the post-credits. And then the second post-credit, I think, was when we saw Superman and Krypto. They were sitting on the moon and they were looking at Earth. Okay? So there you go. That is my full Superman 2025 review. The fact that you guys are asking stupid questions that have nothing to do with what I was talking about whatsoever at all. There you go. That's my review. My full Superman 2025 review. Like I should have done last night. But now because I felt nice, I wanted to tell you guys the whole movie, break by break. And when you know, that is the Superman. Okay, said, sorry, the golf course. Bro, you published a woman from the golf course without her permission. Who cares, man? Who cares? Okay, who fucking cares? Who fucking cares, okay? I don't fucking care, okay? I don't fucking care, okay? Does that answer your question? I don't fucking care if I publish a woman without her permission, okay? I don't fucking care, okay? I don't fucking care. Alright? I just don't fucking care. Okay? So, alright. Yep. Okay. Now, for the rest of our announcements. Okay, whatever announcements do we have? Well, I can tell you one thing. With the combined totals of Superman 2025 for domestic and global, we already have crossed $300 million with the combined totals alone for the box office opening weekend for Superman, the film by James Gunn. Because remember, domestically we made, I don't know, about 100 million something. And then on global fronts, we made like 200 million something. Okay? Now, I'm sorry if I don't know the exact fucking numbers. I'm not no math genius. But okay, so relatively and figuratively speaking, we made about a collective of 300 something million something dollars for the first weekend of Superman 2025 for both the domestic box office and the global box office, just from this first weekend alone. And so, as I remind you again, go out to your theater, wherever your theater is, and go watch James Gunn's Superman. You're not going to regret it because, again, I literally told you the whole break by break on what has happened, what were the key moments, etc., etc., etc. And again, if you still don't believe me, then go read it off Wikipedia. Be my fucking guest. But I try to stay true. I try to stay true to all you people here at Hutchins Hut. I try to stay true to all you guys at Hutchins Hut by telling you the stuff. Okay? By telling you the stuff. Okay, so I think that wraps that one up because I'm just about to leave the neighborhood and I'm going to be trying to focus my sights on going to work out at the gym. And quite honestly and quite frankly, to be honest, I need to work out at the gym because I need, to buff up a bit. I need to buffer myself up a bit. Okay, so I'll see you guys later this afternoon, maybe this evening. I don't know yet. I might do a late night video. I don't know yet. It's Monday, so again, make sure you drink your coffee and drink your soda, and I'll see you all later.